And good morning, everybody. You are listening to Boquete Now Talk Radio on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM. We are sponsored by Big Daddy's Grill, Boulder 54 in the Tap Out Sport Zone. It's like we have a fantastic show planned for you today. We have Marc, Rosen, and Bill Hurley from the ACCB. You know, ACCB is a friend of the show. They've been on 2-3 times now, and they do some awesome things in the community here. We're going to get to talking to them in just a minute. If you're watching this on YouTube and you say, hey, how come those guys aren't wearing masks? Well, we are at least 6 feet apart. We're outside. There's nobody around. It is a beautiful day. Marc Rosen and Bill Hurley are with the ACCB, and I'm glad to have you guys here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, before we get to the ACCB, now, Marc, you know that I am absolutely in love with your bagels, and one of the most unfortunate things for me personally, this pandemic, was not being able to make my weekly trip down to Mort's for my bagels and baguettes. But you have some news though about Mort's, don't you?
It's great news, actually. Morton's is moving, but it's only about 50 feet. If you're facing the bakery, 2 buildings to the left where the church used to be.
That corner building,
the
right?
Corner building. We are in the process. We started yesterday, and we're moving today and Sunday. So the facility is now about 3 times the size.
Yes.
It's on a corner with total ventilation,
Yeah.
so it's not so hot in the bakery.
Uh-huh.
The ovens are now out of sight unless you're coming around the side.
Yeah.
So the only thing you see when you come in now is the smell of the ovens
man.
and the stuff being baked.
Man.
We'll be able to put 6 or 7 tables inside for dining.
Oh, wow.
We have that much space.
That's
We also have
great.
2 bathrooms, a man and a woman, and you don't have to go through the kitchen to get
to get to the back.
And we'll have our regular hours. We'll be open Monday starting at 8 o'clock in the new facility.
All right.
It's amazing how fast they've done all this stuff. And we're just so excited because the access, the temperature, the facility itself. You'll be able to see the racks of bread as they come out from the back room, the cooling racks. You'll be able to see what's on there for your choice of options, and you'll be able to smell them.
Oh, man.
And so we're really excited. And today, why they're moving, up until 4 o'clock today, because on Friday we close at 4.
Sure, yeah.
Any baked good that you want to buy in the store, 10% off, because we'd rather sell it than
Then
move it and
Sure.
have to mess with it.
Yeah.
So any baked goods that you want, 10% off, and if you can't get there today, come see us Monday because it's really beautiful.
So still in the convenient location of San Francisco Plaza,
Yes,
but in a bigger and better place.
right. Like I said, if you're facing it, it's probably 50 feet to the
left. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I'm a big fan, so kudos.
Thanks. yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's really exciting news.
Good. Well, don't forget Monday, 8 o'clock. You open.
Yeah.
Monday at 8 o'clock. Go visit Mort's Bakery, and they're back. I grew up in Brooklyn near a bakery, and when I left home and got my first apartment, it was an interesting building. It was in a town called Westbury, and the building used to be the old jail, and they converted it into a two-bedroom apartments, 1 story and then a 2nd story. But the front of the building was a bakery, and we all shared a climate control system. So I'd wake up every morning for the 2 years that I lived there, every morning to fresh baked bread. And every time I walk into Mort's, it brings back some very pleasant memories of my childhood. So thank you for that.
Sure.
All right, so the ACCB, if you don't know who the ACCB is, one of you gentlemen want to give a little,
Sure.
hey, this is who we are.
So in English, it stands for Association, Charity, and Care of Boquete.
Okay.
So basically, when it started by Joe and Linda Hart, Joe was a police officer for years.
Right,
and
yeah.
So it started as a charity to work with the first responders.
Right.
Police, fire, EMTs, that kind of stuff. We've expanded so fast that we we help all the other charities because we're raising money like crazy, which is just fantastic.
Especially even through a pandemic.
Yeah, and you know, we're going to start up our bingo again very soon, and ways to make money. But what we did during the pandemic, which is to me is phenomenal, we gave a total of $1,206 to other charities, and the ones that received the money were Dog Camp received $250.
Yeah.
La Escuela School that you're involved with.
That's our charity. Thank you very much, by the way, for that.
They received $206 in food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Rodney, from Rodney Direct,
yep,
he needed a backup battery for his new wheelchair.
Right.
We gave him $300 to pay for the backup
That's fantastic.
battery, so he's never down. There's a school up in Volcancito that needed phones because the children that are taking the online classes, it's done through
the internet.
Yeah. And they have to have a phone that, I mean, it was really confusing, some of the FM stuff and phones, but we had a fundraiser at Big Daddy's that lasted a couple hours, and we got 9 phones.
Wow.
We only thought we needed 5. We got 9 phones, plus we gave them $50 to, miscellaneous stuff to get it started or do whatever they needed to do. The Handicap Foundation, we gave $100 to. And the one that we're real proud of also is, and it stands for what we started as, when Lieutenant Flores passed away from the National Police.
Yeah, that's terrible.
We gave his wife and family $300.
Wow.
We have a memorial fund as part of our charity.
Sure.
That anytime a police officer, fireman, first responder, something happens, we try to make a decent donation.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go a long way.
Yeah. So why everything was closed and nobody was moving, we gave away $1,206.
You guys are still chugging along in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's that actually is. You guys get props for that because I know of a lot of charities here. From being on the radio and whatnot, and a lot of them have had to shut down through the pandemic. Obviously they weren't major charities, and it's tough. Everyone's asking for money, and you hate to say no because these are genuine needs, But the fact that you and also the Rotary has been operating steadily, through this pandemic, helping people in the background. So, thank you guys for that. That's fantastic.
And we're one of the only charities, and we're so proud of it, that we give money to other charities.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of charities, they make money for themselves.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
That's nothing wrong with that.
But our bylaws are broad enough that we can help others and people that need it. And as you can see from the list that I just read, it's really diversified.
Yeah, it is. When the last time the ACCB was on the show, it was Joe. Joe was here. Joe was here actually the first 2 times. And that's one of the things that we really like to focus on is that, you're a charity for charities. You function, in many ways that way. And especially during times like this where our economy here is bad. Just more and more people need help. More and more organizations need help, and to have an organization like the ACCB that's out there. And if you don't think $200 or $300 goes a long way, it goes a long way. Like our charity, $40 feeds a family, a majorly big family for a whole week. So when you add things up with the needs that this community has, $1,206 is a tremendous amount of money, and I'm sure it had a very big impact. So you guys obviously you have things in the works and you have plans. What are some of the things you have coming up for the future?
Obviously, we're good at giving money out. But we need to get money in to be able to give the money out. So one of the things is in November we hope to start bingo back up.
And where
at La Posada.
La Posada.
And we do it every other Tuesday, and Trivia does the other Tuesday.
That's the Argentinian restaurant across from the brewery.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
a lot of parking in back, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't get fooled when you walk by.
Lots of parking, and from what and I've only been back like 3-4 days, so I'm still catching up myself. Yeah. But supposedly Nestor, from the owner there, has all the okays in place, and we'll have the social distancing on it.
Yeah.
But we'll keep everybody posted as it gets closer. to when we're actually going to do it. But the other thing that we've taken over, and Bill's kind of in charge of it and running it, it's going to be a good task. And it's a pleasure having Bill working on this because he's very meticulous and gets everything done.
Yeah,
good job, Bill.
Perfectionist, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that
My
really
people.
makes life. It's nice when you have other volunteers that are like that because Bill's in this thing heart and soul. So we have taken over the theater in the tap out facility.
Okay.
I'm not even sure what the correct term is anymore. With all the different letters.
Depends on who you are. I know people who still call it Snoopies. So,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. That's what Chris said. Chris said if we want to talk to a Panamanian, don't say tap out, say Snoopies. Because that's what they remember, yeah. So we are going to start this week with our first Tuesday talk at the market.
Okay.
We were trying to decide who we should have as a guest speaker, and nobody would talk to us, so we finally decided to get you. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, what poor sucker. No.
We thought you would be perfect for our first one.
And I have accepted.
And you accepted, thank you. And we'll talk about all the Mensa things that are going on, all the curfews, and what you really can do and what you can't do, because there's so much gossip out there.
There is.
It's terrible.
There is. And,
so we'll get the true story.
And it's not, the gossip, bunchinche it's not malicious.
No.
It's some of the decrees and some of the press releases that are issued. They're difficult sometimes to decipher. Sometimes, now if you're fluent in Spanish, especially in the Spanish they speak here in Panama, it's probably not. But a lot of things don't translate well. And sometimes what we may see as an inconsistency it's our fault. It's our misunderstanding or miscommunication. So there's going to be a lot to talk about. Like you said, the curfews, when and where, the rules for going to the beach, what Mince is doing with the local businesses, how they are following up their biosecurity protocols, what you can do, what you can't do. I know people are saying, well, how could you go to a restaurant and eat with a mask? And they may seem like stupid questions, but they're not. There are no stupid questions, especially where your health is concerned. So I'm hoping, my goal is to be able to answer some questions, and we're going to do a Q&A too.
Perfect. Yeah, and it'll be like an open forum. The house lights will stay on.
Yep.
You'll be on the stage with a microphone and a chair.
Yep, that's it.
And some bagels, maybe. I don't know.
Ooh.
But it'll be very
Bill's just here laughing.
Very easygoing. But there are some stipulations that all of us have to adhere to. For example, the market is only allowed so many people in, and that includes the vendors. Okay, we have to do social distancing in the theater. Everybody will wear a mask in the theater. So let's say we can put 50 people into the theater and be legal. If those 50 people come through the front doors of the market,
like usual,
like
right?
usual, the market's closed.
Yeah,
they can't get any more people in there.
That counts.
Yeah, because of the count.
Right.
So we're going to have someone posted at the top, and there will be signs. You have to just walk around. If you're facing it to the left, there's that little road that you can just walk down.
It's where the handicap
right where the handicap parking is. It's a 50-yard walk.
Yeah.
And you'll come in the back door, and there's a back door to the theater there, not the back door to the tap out, but the back door to the theater. We'll have a separate entrance. We will take your temperature. We will
alcohol.
Spray the alcohol. And we decided we're going to give everyone, once you pay, we're going to give you a raffle ticket.
Ooh.
That'll be your okay to exit entry if you want, whatever. And we were going to ask the vendors each week, a different vendor, to donate something.
Yeah.
So Morton's is doing a $5 gift certificate to the winner.
Yeah.
So for the first one, and next week we'll have somebody else according to that. So we are going to charge $2 instead of the $1. The reason is we're trying to. The money's going to our charity,
right,
to replenish all this stuff, and there'll only be 50 people in there,
right.
So it's half the crowd. Now the thing that we recommend to everyone is the doors will open at 10.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the doors to the market open at 9.
Right.
Come in the main door, do all your market stuff.
Sure.
And if you want to bring food into the theater, God bless you. You're more than welcome. You can bring, because the thing that we were talking about earlier, that everybody's missing the congregation of
Sure.
talking to their friends.
The schmooze.
The schmoozing.
Yeah.
So in the theater, you'll still be 6 feet apart, but you can schmooze.
Sure. Yeah, you can
So
talk. And
bring your coffee, bring your water, bring your cupcake, whatever you got.
bring your bagels.
Right, and we just ask that at the end, throw it in the trash can
Yeah.
and clean up after
Be a
yourself.
good steward.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But it'll be a very nonchalant. So come early, go through the market, do all your shopping. You will have to go back out the main door
And
so
come
they
back
can count
around.
you as leaving,
Right.
and walk around, piece of cake, because you'll probably want to put the rest of your stuff in the car anyway. If we start at the 10:30, we're usually over at 11:30,
Right.
quarter to 12.
Something like that.
The market is literally open till 1, but a lot of vendors leave at 12.
Yeah.
So we recommend that you come before,
And do your shopping.
get what you need, do your shopping, come back out and come back in. We hope that everyone's really excited to have this Tuesday talk start again.
Yeah.
And there's lots of speakers that we can get that would be very educational and entertainment for all of
Well,
us.
you know, I got a good amount of feedback on that. About, I don't know, maybe a month ago, maybe a little longer. I had Phil Bennett and Jan Thompson on the show, and then maybe about a month before that, I had Phil Bennett and Sheila on the show, and we were talking about the upcoming opening and all that stuff of the Tuesday market there. And one of the topics that we discussed on both of those shows was the Tuesday talks. And I know the last time that Phil and Jan were on, there was talk about it being held at the library on a Wednesday. So if you have that information, that obviously has changed. So it's back now at Tuesday at the Tuesday market, correct?
Well, actually, no. BCP still plans to operate they changed the name from Tuesday Talk to
right.
Community Chat.
I'm so confused here. That's
There's
the
lots
other
of letters.
guys.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, that market is also open on Tuesday.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So if
and
you-
the Feria.
So if you go to that market, you can still come across the street.
Exactly.
And and actually it was Dee Horn and Austin
Right.
and Justin Hess that I had on the show, and that also came up on that show, which is why
And everybody was wondering, will everybody just go to one market versus the other?
No, you don't have to.
I can tell you we all counted numbers together, and both markets
Yeah.
had within 1 or 2 people of the other one.
200.
So, like 205, 206 people.
Both
yeah.
both Phil and Jan and Dee and Justin have both pretty much said that there's room enough in town for both these markets.
Yeah.
And then there's no matter of fact, some of the vendors are the same. And I think that's actually probably a good thing for our community. It gives more diversity,
Right,
exactly.
But I feel like a politician. I misspoke. But I mean, both of those, all 4 of those individuals are friends of mine. You know, and I wish success for everybody.
Sure.
you
Of
know.
course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the Tuesday talk that we talked about originally with Dee, with Phil. They were going to do one on Wednesday.
At the
so
library.
I don't know if that is still.
I think it's still in the works.
It's still in the works.
And they haven't started a date
yeah.
to line anything up
Yeah.
yet.
Oh, I'm sure I'll have him back on the
Yeah.
show to find out.
And I'll tell you, I mean, like I said, the thing that we miss the most now is the no schmoozing, because everybody
Yeah.
likes to do
Well,
that.
and that's really one of the main things that made the market so popular.
Right.
Because it was a social gathering. It's like the church for the non-religious. You every Tuesday that's what you would do, and I really have to say that I'm happy that the Tuesday market's back, both of them. I haven't been to either one yet. My Tuesdays have been have been jammed up the last couple of weeks,
Right.
but I do mean to get down and visit. I know Oscar has been to both of them.
Right. The shopping's a lot easier.
Yeah.
From a customer's point of view,
Yeah.
you're not fighting the crowds.
Well, and that's the
So,
feedback
yeah.
that I got because
Right.
some of my friends have gone to both, and they said, well, we've parked and we went over here and we went in and it was nice and we bought a few things and we went across the street
Right.
and it was nice and we bought a few things and there was no long lines, there was no problem parking,
Nope.
there was no everyone up against each other, which is a concern. So
Right.
I think that's going to be overall better for for our entire community. And the Tuesday talk. The Tuesday talk, the one that's on Tuesday at Snoopy's. I gave a talk there a couple of years ago on iPhones, tips and tricks and how to do that, and that led to some networking for me that worked out very well.
Great.
So it's going to be fun to be back there.
And I think some of the people are still staying away because they're afraid.
Yeah.
I can tell you that they are so strict about the vendors with the masks, with the face mask and the shield, the spraying, the distancing.
Yeah.
They've really done a good job at both markets of taking care of safety first.
Well,
that's like one-way traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different things that if the people are afraid, I don't think you have to be. I mean, it's really done well.
Yeah, well, all you need to do is go to on Oscar Pena's Facebook page, and he took some video inside both facilities, and it was good to see that this is being taken seriously. The vendors were all far enough apart, one-way traffic. The work that both parties really have done to try to make sure that everyone is safe tells me that their first concern is not well, we're going to make a bunch of money or whatever.
Right.
Their first concern is we want to get this back, and we want to do it in a ways to where everyone's going to be safe. So definitely, don't stay away if you're if you're worried about them breaking the rules or being crammed into a small space or being coughed on or whatever. It's I know I've seen the vendors have the face masks on and the face shields, and I know that they're giving alcohol and taking temperatures, and I think you got the little foot thing where you step in. So they're doing everything that they're supposed to do and keeping track of how many people go in and how many people go out, which is why for the Tuesday talk you have to go around the back.
Exactly.
Because just walking through the facility counts as someone in.
So we need them, like I said, after they shop, they have to walk back out.
Yeah.
They won't be allowed in through that back door that leads over to Boulder 54. And that's another thing, if you're coming just for the talk and stuff, those grounds between Tap Out and Boulder 54 are beautiful.
Oh
It's
my
a
gosh,
beautiful
they
walk.
are.
And there's
They
some
really
people.
are.
Some people say, "I never even knew that was there."
Exactly.
It's amazing how many people tell us that.
Well, we didn't know it was there. Man, I was in a couple of the BCP shows, and I spent a lot of time down there. And I was also, my band was playing music at Boulder. Had no idea.
That you could walk
and then,
back and forth.
Chris said, "Have you seen the grounds?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I haven't." And man, you go around. I mean, there's the lake, and there's a little bridge, and
Along the river.
and a what do you call a little? I call it a stage. I guess it's just a deck, right? I think that's what non-musicians call it. It's a deck. Whole world's a stage, and the grounds, the landscaping, everything is really beautiful. And he showed me that because the ACCB was doing a fundraiser,
wine tasting.
something to where we're going back and forth.
Right, exactly.
And there's a gate there that connects the two, and you can walk back and forth, and that was fun. And question: is there going to be a sausage fest this year? Don't laugh at that word. Seriously, don't. Just put your 12-year-old self away.
We don't know.
Oh man!
I mean, we want to do a spring fest.
Yeah.
Which it's so hard to plan for anything right now.
I know, isn't it,
because
though?
when you plan, if you don't plan, you're going to get caught too late.
Yeah.
But if you plan, you're going to be spending all this money, like we had to cancel Oktoberfest.
I know that, and that was, it's disappointing. I know, especially if you look forward to these events.
Right.
And
we were only a week or so away from beginning that sausage fest and the wine tasting.
Well, I know
the tickets were
ads
all
went out,
printed,
tickets
sold,
were,
sold,
I remember
and
that.
we had to cancel at the very last minute.
Yeah, that, and then you think of places, you think of other event like the Blues Jazz and Blues Festival, and when you hear about now, in these times, of the markets opening and the Tuesday talks or the Wednesday conversations and things slowly getting back to some semblance of normalcy, and you start looking forward to these things,
Right,
to the Spring Fest, to the Sausage Fest, to the fairs, to the I know we're not going to have the Flower Fair this year. There's so many things that we miss, but announcements like this kind of give us that, okay, we can start looking a little further down the road than next Wednesday or next Tuesday or next Monday.
Exactly.
We would all really love to see. That's really what a lot of what this town is about. It's a destination place for a lot of expats from all over the world, not just from the United States. And these things like the market and the Tuesday talk and the Flower Fair and the Sausage Fest and Oktoberfest, and we all look so forward to these things.
Right.
Not to say that our scenery and our hiking trails and the things that we have here, but these are special events where we get to see our friends and we get to try new things and taste new things. Maybe win a raffle or something. It's been a rough year, and it may seem insignificant to some. Well, it's just an event. It's just this, but it's kind of really important to us.
Sure.
To our sense of normalcy and our sense of well-being. So I'm really hoping that next year, at least, the Oktoberfest is going
to see it.
Back. Yeah.
I had breakfast Tuesday morning with a friend, and after breakfast we just said, well, I wanted to take her to the market just to walk around.
Sure.
She's lived in Boquete all of her life. Has 2 children, and she had never been to a market.
Wow.
Never been. And we walked through both exhibits, and then we walked over to Boulder 54, and she was amazed at how beautiful the little park area was.
There's a lot of work they put into that.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of work they put
absolutely.
into that. Yeah.
So I'd like to see the theater, the ACCB sponsor things that include a lot of the Panamanian people and the Boquetians, and not just be a gringo thing.
Right,
And we are basically ACCB in charge of the theater now. So we can use it for whatever type of event we have. Or, for example, somebody brought up, well, some of these other charity groups don't have locations to meet at anymore.
Right. Hey, wow.
We'll be more than happy.
Including Rotary. Rotary
and we'll be glad to negotiate
the veterans.
Something to make it work for everybody.
Yeah.
That seats 50 people within the limits of what you need.
Sure, yeah. Hopefully eventually 100 again.
Yeah, and if somebody has something else that they want to present, just contact us and we'll make it work, to be held in the library. In the movie theater. And we're also we're looking into starting movies again.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that. What about the movies?
There's lots of ifs, ands, and buts to make it legal and everything else, but it's in the process. We're working on it.
Yeah,
because I know people like it.
Well, for a couple of bucks, I think it was $2 or $3 or something like that. Maybe $1, I don't remember, but I know my wife and I have been down there a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Has the roof been reinforced? I know that there was an issue there last year when the rains came. It was very difficult to hear, and that there was a plan in the works to
insulate.
I don't know if that was done yet, but our rainy season's about over anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that would be great. Yeah. That's another one of those things where you meet beforehand, you schmooze a little bit, and go watch a good movie, and then go grab something to eat.
And also, from the group's point of view, we're a pretty decent sized charity. We have over 50 members.
Yeah.
But we want more.
Yeah.
So we want to let everybody know that we meet the second Wednesday of each month. So November 11th would be the next meeting, and we meet at Casa Vieja, the Stone Cabins.
Mm-hmm.
In the back room, we have lunch.
That's where the drumming is,
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
That's where the
Same
drumming
place,
is.
yeah. So if anybody's interested, they can get a hold of any of us, Joe or Linda, or just show up. And the meeting starts at noon, right? And we usually get there like 11:15 to eat lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we have the meeting, and we'd love to have some new members.
And also, come to the bingo. It's a great time. It's several hours, and Mark calls the numbers. And
Bingo master.
Bingo master, absolutely. But we get together. We have a pizza and drinks and play bingo, and it's a very worthwhile evening. And the money that's not given out as in prizes goes into the ACCB trade.
I got to hand it to you. You guys have done have had a wide variety of different types of fundraisers. I mean, you've had the 50/50s, you have bingo, you've got Oktoberfest, now the excuse me, the Tuesday talks, and it's good to have that kind of a diversity. Instead of as odd as it may sound, I remember when I was growing up, Jerry Lewis had the muscular
Marathon,
dystrophy telethons, and it went on for days, and it was the same thing every year. And although it definitely is a worthwhile cause, it would have probably been more effective if they had different, some different things. Maybe the first day you do this, second day you do that, because after a day or two, people are tired of looking at, no matter how attractive they are, people on the phone. But you guys have a really diverse bag of fundraisers to pull from, and that 50/50 last year was a lot of fun. Did you guys do the wing? Was that you guys did the wing thing between Chris and Richard?
Yes.
That was you guys.
Yes. the cook-off thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and although I know Chris sponsors the show. Thank you, Chris. But I think Richard won that.
He did.
He did.
and I'm sure Richard doesn't let him forget it.
Yeah, it was a lot. They're friends though, so there's a lot of good-hearted ribbon going on.
And we're again, we'll be limited at Christmas time. Last year we had 400 kids. Showed up at the tap out, and we gave the cookies. That was an amazing day.
Yeah.
We had Santa Claus and the arts and crafts, and we expected 100 kids, and we ended up with 400.
Wow.
Now, obviously, that's not going to happen this year,
Yeah.
but we're in the process of trying to figure out the most we can do within the limits of the law.
Yeah.
So those are all plans. And again, we could use more members that want to volunteer and help out.
Tell us how to become a member. Tell us how much the dues are and what you get as a member, and any information that you want to throw in there.
It's really cheap. Dues are $30 a year.
A year.
Yeah, and we charge you $11 one time to get a shirt.
Okay.
With your name on it and our name. So that's about as cheap as you can get.
Yeah.
And then we don't have meetings to have meetings and decide when the next meeting is. We do the once a month.
Yeah.
And then the committees meet how often they need to meet to get whatever they're working on. So we try not to inundate people's time and effort, so we just want to get it done.
And as a member, you also have the opportunity to volunteer at these events. I know there's a lot of people that they're kind of afraid of the V word, but Boquete has so many people that are so generous, not just with their money, but with their time.
Yeah, amazing.
This is like the volunteer capital of Central America. I mean, every time I meet somebody, it's like in the States, they ask you, so what do you do for a living, right? Here it's like, so where do you volunteer at?
That's true.
Yeah, it is. And it's a very generous community here, and that's, I can tell you that from personal reasons too, the ACCB has been, how long is it, you've already told us how you started as a venue for first responders. When did the ACCB start? Do you know offhand?
Well, Joe and Linda started it, and I think it had a different name or something, but I'm going to guess like 6 years.
6-7 years ago.
But it's really taken off the last 3.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. Yeah. It's just really just took off and really got active, and we've had knock on wood, we've had some great fundraisers where we made enough money to do this stuff.
Yeah, I know that
because dues don't go very far at $30 a year.
No. I mean, and that's obviously no, they don't, and that covers administrative things. I guess you have to have in order to have members. But I know that the ACCB down at the checkpoint there has done a lot for local law enforcement as far as setting up that trailer, I think, and then there's a refrigerator.
We bought a refrigerator and a stove for up here,
Yeah.
and a washing machine for the guys here because they're on 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And then we also have this year we are doing this. I'm pretty sure the picnic for the policemen. Policemen and firemen,
hot dogs,
and we're going to find a park and have social distancing just for them. And then on Christmas Eve, we've been doing this every year. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, we go to the police station and cook them hot dogs and hamburgers for all the guys that are working.
Cool.
Yeah, we've been doing that for a couple of years now.
Well, as a former firefighter and EMT, thank you. Although it's been 40.
You can come by and get a hot dog. We'll let you.
I might come by and cook one for you.
Bring your ID.
Cook you a hot dog, right? Bring my ID. Oh my gosh. And just so you know how radio goes, time really flies here.
Yeah.
We've already burned through 45 minutes. We got another about 13, 14 minutes before I have to close the show out. And when I ask people to come on the show, they're like, well, how long is the show? I'm like, well, it's an hour. It's like, I can't talk for an hour. It goes by really, really fast. My show up in New York City was a 3-hour show, and it was just bam, 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 bam. But, as far as the events coming up this year, I know you've already told us that there's going to be, the biosecurity, social distancing, and all that. Have you made any provisions for the fact that you can't have as many people? I mean, are there going to be more events, fundraisers this year? And I know, you hear fundraiser, but these are events. These are fun. This isn't like the telethon. These are a lot of fun. But because you're cut almost in half of the amount of people you can have attend these things, are you planning more events this year?
Well, like, for example, we talked about the movies. If we start movies, it may not just be 1 day a week.
Oh.
It may be 2 or 3 days a week. Because if we can only put in 50 people, we may have to do it 3 times.
Yeah.
Our Spring Fest, it may be broken into hours where you reserve time to come at different hours, or we may have to do 2 days instead of 1 day, but it changes everything. It might have to be reservations because so we know who's coming what days. And, I mean, there's a lot. It's just so much more technical to get it done, but you just have to do twice as much to make half as much.
Well,
I think the same would apply for like the children's Christmas party. How are you if you can only have 50 out of 400? Who chooses? Who chooses the 50?
That's
so you may have to have that event on multiple occasions.
I mean, every year we get box loads of Christmas gifts that people bring.
Sure.
I mean, it won't. We need 2 or 3 cars to leave Boulder 54 to load up all the presents that people volunteer to bring in when we have our Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
So it might be where we just get the gifts and then distribute them to the proper people to make sure those families get it. I mean, there's lots of ways to still do it. We just can't have 400 kids show up at the tap out.
Yeah, no, that's true. One of the changes that we had to make in our Escuela Estrella fund was we were bringing food bags, 35 at a time, 35, 38 at a time, up to the school where everybody would meet, right, all together, and we distribute it, and we, can't do that anymore. So one of the things we did, and I bring this up because it's something you just said, is we will bring the food up there, and then a representative in the community, like El Roble in that community, would take all of that and they would bring it into their community. So there are still ways. So don't like not donate or not buy a Christmas present, because they will figure out how to get it distributed.
Exactly.
It will definitely be done.
And I'd also like to point out Chris and their generosity. They want to see the theater utilized, and they chose us, which is a blessing to us, to be the ones that were involved in that. but they want to see the community blossom. They want to see the asset be used
Sure.
for the good of the community.
Yeah. Well,
And so my hat's off to Chris and Justin and the rest of them.
yeah. Well, those guys have been such a. And I'm not just saying this because they sponsor the show. I mean, Chris is a friend of mine. I've known him. He was one of the first people I met, when I got here, and then he and I have been involved in many different things, over the last couple of years or so. And him and Justin, really, they love this community.
Right.
And they do a lot, with their time. They do a lot with their money. They do a lot with their facilities, with their food. They basically feed us, And I had a little phrase, and I can't remember it offhand because my memory is like a sieve, about I had a little name that I would call Chris, kind of like an intro to a professional wrestling thing, and I can't remember it. And dude, I'm sorry if I remember it, I'll post it. But they're very much interested in doing what they can to keep this community growing,
Exactly.
and keep it a place where everybody wants to come.
So that's why the introduction that we're giving now to for the theater, there's so many possibilities, and we're meeting almost daily to try to figure out exactly what we can do at the theater, what will benefit the community, and we also like the fact that a lot of our events you can go back across the hall and have a nice appetizer or a meal or a drink at Tap Out as well.
And I just got a text from Linda Hart. Linda, we love you. We really do. You're so awesome. I mean, not just for having to put up with Joe.
She just did that to make sure that Bill and I showed up.
But she says here, we're planning on having our annual Christmas dinner at Boulder 54 on Sunday, December 6th. Hope we can have it. Which means this is something that you guys want to do,
right.
But obviously, you have to wait to see the logistics on it.
A lot of unknowns.
Yeah, there are. That Christmas dinner at Boulder 54 is kind of a tradition now, right?
Big time.
And
Big time.
I think not last year, the year before last. I think it was the year before last. I was in 3 or 4 bands here in town. Played some music, for that, and we all had a great time, but. Oh man, there's so many things that we want to see happen, and it's really good to know that there are organizations like the ACCB that are still, chugging along, trying to get things done. And sometimes, it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back, dealing with MNSA and the regulations, and they're doing what they have to do to keep us safe. But in the same token, there's still, the need. The needs haven't gone away in the pandemic. As a matter of fact, in many cases, they've
multiplied.
They've multiplied. Yeah. So I think that's fantastic. We got about 6-7 minutes. So if there's anything that you want to add, anything you want to throw in there, anything you want to go over, reiterate, make sure it's clear, dates, times.
Maybe just the entry. Procedure again.
Okay.
So the doors to the theater will open at 10. Mm-hmm. The market opens at 9. If you come to the market, you come down the main steps at Tap Out.
As always. Yeah.
They take your temperature. They mark you as a number.
Okay.
You get to go in. Come in, do your shopping, do what you want to do. You have to go back out that way so they can take you off the list. Come around to the left side, down that little ramp, and the back door. And if you go from Tap Out to Boulder, because there's vendors in Boulder,
sure, yeah.
You'll see the door we're talking about. It's right there.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk out,
you can have a bouncer there. You can have a bouncer at that door.
Her name is Jerry.
Stop! You shall not pass.
So you'll see the door, and the only reason we're making everybody do that is so we don't hurt the market.
Right.
That's not our goal.
Yeah.
And they're strictly by numbers.
Yeah.
So, and then when you leave, come back out, go back out the same way. You're more than welcome to come back into the market if you want through the main door.
Right. Okay. And that is very important because, like Marc said, people are let in. When you're standing at the door at the grocery store, they let you in when someone else comes out.
Right.
So if you go in and then you leave, you're basically ducking out the back door to go into the Tuesday. They don't know that you're not in there anymore. And then
Exactly.
It would kill the market if they did that. Because
Yeah.
if we put 50 people in the theater, they're only allowed to put 50 people in at a time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they get nobody.
Nobody there.
Yeah.
So that's very, very important. And that's the market opens at 9.
Right. And the market was very successful last week.
Yeah, I
It
saw
was
pictures.
good. Yeah, it was very successful.
And the Tuesday talk starts at
10:30.
10:30.
But
So
we'll
you
open the doors at 10.
open the doors at 10. You could bring your food.
Bring your
Right.
food,
Bring your
and we're
drink.
going to raffle off for free a $5 gift certificate at Morton's Bakehouse,
Morton's Bakehouse, which is in a new location.
which is in a new
starting
location.
Monday.
2 doors down. Yeah, you'll see the
On corner
signs.
there. Yeah.
We're actually going to get a screen door made, and then we think we're going to paint it blue like our old one, so we can still say, "Look for the blue door," because that thing really stands out like a sore thumb.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that's in the makings right now.
Cool. All right,
And
so-
if you want to meet the man behind the microphone, come down and you can meet Al.
Yeah, I'll be doing. Thank
You'll
you,
be
by the
doing
way.
it.
It's an honor to kick it off for you guys, and we'll be talking about the latest, what's going on with our regulations, our quarantines, curfews, and other various things that are happening.
I'm not 100% sure what Phil meant when I told him you were going to be the speaker. He wanted to know if we wanted a mute button.
All right, Phil. Well played, sir. Well played. Well
just
played.
kidding.
Okay,
Just
no,
kidding.
that's fine. That's fine. You just, I'm going to see if I can arrange for someone to spray paint your beard blue. No, Phil. I've known Phil forever.
And those of you that are familiar with the theater, we're in the seating capacity there. We're going to kind of mark off every other seat, so there'll be a seat between the guests,
Yeah.
and you can put your purse or what have you on that
food.
the
Yeah.
food on between you.
And again, please take your trash with you.
Well, we'll have trash cans set up.
You don't want Marc to hire
And that's another thing too.
garbage police.
This is also from Chris. After each event, we have to go in and basically fog all of the
Yeah.
chairs.
Sure,
and,
yeah, you gotta
and
clean up
and
everything.
clean up afterwards. So you don't fear that you're going to be coming and sitting down in a place that hasn't been
Sure.
cared for.
Yeah, so all the railings and all the seats and
Exactly.
the handrails and the doorknobs and all that
Chris
stuff.
has a machine
fogger,
that
yeah, it's
basically
very cool.
fogs. Yeah.
That's what he uses to clean out to clean his restaurants.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Every
Yeah.
night that's done. So
See, I had an idea, but nobody liked it. You got the big black stage
Sure.
and chairs.
Right.
All we need is a yellow rope and big time wrestling. But we just,
Right? I know.
We just couldn't get volunteers that were willing to hit that floor. It's
It's
we might
kind of
go
hard.
right through it.
I've tripped on that floor. Yeah, it might go through it. I know, right? Oh my gosh! And I can, there is that theater has so much potential. I mean, not just for obviously, for the Tuesday talks, or for plays or whatever. I don't know who'd be doing that. That's a whole thing.
But I didn't mean to interrupt you, but just so that too, the BCP will still do their 4 to 6
So
or
they
7
have-
plays
okay.
at the theater.
So that's a truly now a community theater, right?
Right. That was the part of the deal that they get their 4
To 6,
six
whatever
programs that they
there.
do.
Yeah. Oh, that's
They've
even
invested
better.
a lot of money in
They
lights
have.
and stage.
They have
and this
done,
and that.
and they've always been generous in
Yep.
sharing that space
Absolutely.
too. So
and Mark and I met with Phil Tuesday, and he was very generous with his time and showed us exactly what we needed to do to host you.
Oh my gosh! So give me a microphone. That's it. I thought about maybe some chicken wires.
Some chicken wings.
Chicken wire. No, chicken wire. Those things that are throwing fruit and vegetables at me. But yeah, you could literally, have not just movies there. You could have, mini concerts there. I mean, there's so many things that can be done. And that has
Boquete's
been
got
done.
talent. You could have a talent show there.
Yeah.
People
Ooh.
singing or whatever.
Have some judges that are rude to everybody. That was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Be like on TV.
There's lots of potential to do stuff there.
Oh my gosh! All right, so let's do a quick rundown. Tuesday talk starting this Tuesday in the theater. Starts at 10:30. Get there at 10. You can bring your food in there. You can bring your drink in there. Come in through the back. Don't come in through the market, but please visit the market and do your marketing or market things at the market. You're going to get your hand stamped.
No, we're just going to give a ticket,
A ticket
a half of a ticket
Half
for
of a
the
ticket?
for the drawing.
for the drawing. Okay, and that's what's that,
drawing is
$5
$5
off of Mort's.
$5 for free off whatever you want.
$5 of whatever you want.
Yeah, it's worth
Whatever you
$5
want. That's wow.
Of the fresh bagels.
Oh my gosh. You know, Mark gave me a couple of bagels, and it was again. He told me I'm the first one to get and I am so honored. But you know,
You got the first 2 bagels that was baked in the new facility this morning, about an hour before we got
and
here.
they're in my car, and
Windows
all
are
through this interview, they've been calling out to me, and I wanted to just start digging into one, but no one wants to hear me talk with a mouthful of food, and I've got some cream cheese at the house that. Oh, I'm going to love that. Thank you very much for that. I want to thank you all for your time this morning and for your attention, as I do every Friday morning from 10 to 11. I appreciate every single one of you, and we've been talking with Bill Hurley and Marc Rosen from the ACCB about upcoming things. I'm going to post some links and information on my post-production promotion thing that I do every week. Thank you very much. I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and we will see you next week. Sponsored Big Daddy's Grill, Boulder 54, and Tap Out.